Well, welcome to the Seven Figure Builder Show. My name is Julie Baranek, founder of Seven Figure Builder, where we help high achieving CEOs connect with their dream clients to scale to seven figures and beyond. And I'm here today with my friend Catherine B. Roy. Hey, Catherine.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We are going to have a lot of fun topics today. I'm already pumped.
Me too.
Awesome. So first and foremost, where in the world are you?
I'm in Serbia in Europe at the moment, but I actually work globally. So if I may say, my clients come from 30 countries and I'm everywhere, but locally now I'm in Serbia. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. And that's something I love about this is just literally connecting with people all around the world. So it's so much
Yes.
fun. So for people that haven't had the pleasure to meet you yet, can you tell us a bit what you do with your business?
I'm a business coach, internationally recognized business coach, and I specialize in helping coaches, consultants, entrepreneurs, and small business owners to grow their businesses online. Actually, my story is a little bit different. I was a programmer for 15 years and I published a book in USA back in 2017. I had a lot of traction thanks to help by McGill Media, and practically my social media exploded.
Wow.
And as someone who always taught in algorithms, I was thinking about, well, what shall I do with this? So I started my own business because I have a background in economics and marketing. And now I have amazing opportunity to say that I left corporation several years ago. I've grown my business, tripled it twice thanks to LinkedIn and online growth. And now I'm just doing what I love, helping people to do what they love and live free.
Awesome. I absolutely love that. And what was your book about? Tell us about your book.
Well, it wasn't about business at all. It was actually, yeah, it was a system for emotional and intellectual growth. Because I'm a Mensa member, so I worked a lot on human potential. And also, I was always interested in psychology and emotional intelligence. So it's like a personal guide which help us to increase our emotional intelligence so that we can work and live from the highest potential we actually can.
I love that. And that's ultimately what you're trying to help people do through your business coaching, right? Like they're very aligned,
Yes.
even though they're different areas, right?
Yes. Yes.
Nice. And
Exactly.
you found a ton of success in LinkedIn, and I want to dig into that today because like I feel like this is an area while we know it's there, we don't realize the full potential in LinkedIn. And I love
Mhm.
to geek out there also. So tell us, what did you find and what do you recommend with LinkedIn?
Well, a few years ago, I actually was in a conference, digital enterprise show in Spain, in Madrid. And on the marketing stage, a lot of people were talking about LinkedIn. Back then, I thought LinkedIn was just a CV. I was a programmer and practically, I used it as a CV. But it ended up that Microsoft bought LinkedIn in 2017 and they transformed it completely. So today, LinkedIn is definitely not a CV. And what people usually don't know, it's not even a social media. It's one of the most powerful search engines if we talk about business world. So even more powerful than Google, because we voluntarily leave a lot of information, which is very important professionally, right? So LinkedIn has a search engine with very specified filters, which can help us to connect with practically anyone in this world in the professional space. Now, if we think about the fact that there are 800 million companies on LinkedIn, possibilities are absolutely endless. So if we look just at the LinkedIn profile, which was a CV once, now it's more like a landing page. Maybe not even a landing page because, landing pages don't have any kind of distractions, but some kind of a shop window. And if we know how to use it, specifically use the SEO and practically put it in a service to be found. So it's an inbound marketing, not outbound marketing. A lot of people are sending messages and cold DMs and something like that. I don't support that. I support building a strong personal brand and showcasing our expertise in front of the right eyes. And the best place for us to connect with the right eyes is LinkedIn. It's more harder to connect with people on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or something like that, because if we are not specifically looking for someone, we don't have that search power, technically speaking, to actually find people who can help us. So if we get connected and establish a human-to-human connection with a person who can put us on the stage in front of 10,000 people, we obviously already changed our lives, right? So this is why I stand so strongly behind LinkedIn. And I had a chance to be in the LinkedIn's program. LinkedIn editorial team teached us for 6 weeks, actually, how to use LinkedIn to achieve all of these results. And in my case, companies like Goldman Sachs and Microsoft, Forbes, Mindvalley reached out to me through LinkedIn. At this point, actually, Scale AI hired me to train artificial intelligence just because they saw me talking about it on LinkedIn. So
Wow.
there is absolutely no limit in what we can achieve because all the resources are truly there.
So I absolutely love that. And it's so incredibly powerful. I mean, so often we use Facebook and Instagram and all these other social medias to be able to attract your business, associates, right? Like your clients, your dream clients who you want to reach. But you've got to sift through so many people to find the professional people that you want to connect with, where with LinkedIn, you've got an entire organization of professionals. That's why they're there, to be able to connect with. So you're saying not the messenger, but really leverage your profile to be able to display your knowledge to your target audience. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, a profile is very, very important. And the most important thing is we need to set the creator mode, because in that case, it's a dynamic profile, which will give us more visibility. But what is more important is that our profile is not about us. If we are in service, if we run a business, our profile needs to be about our clients or our potential clients. So the second mistake people usually do is that they write about themselves in about section, while about section is a perfect place for us to showcase what we can do for someone else. And then we talk about ourselves, because it's a classical psychology. People are interested to know how we can help them. Later, if they see we are credible, they will read about us. But on the first moment, they need to see what we can do for them. And I will disclose one secret, actually, which truly helped me. And I think this is going to be one of the greatest takeaways. Hashtags on all social media are keywords practically, but on LinkedIn, there is one very important technical specification. If we use 3 hashtags, and one of these hashtags is our personal brand hashtag, like name and surname, LinkedIn will include that in the URL of the post we posted. So when you check the URL of the post, you will see first 3 hashtags you use, and I don't recommend using any more than 3. And why is this important? If our profile is public, Google is going to be pinged every single time, not only Google, but every search engine, because LinkedIn is indexed on all search engines when someone engaged with us. Right? So if I have 30,000 connections and I leave a comment on your post, there is going to be 30,000 possibilities for someone to see what you have posted there. But if you used your personal hashtag at the same time, practically you're pinging all these search engines instantly. And this is how I actually got myself to the point to be verified by Google as a public person with more than 25 million search results, and receive a knowledge panel on Google as a public person, actually as a podcaster, so that people can actually find my brand much easily. And this happens thanks to my personal brand hashtag, nothing else.
That's absolutely incredible. So people listen. Like, this is huge. So do you recommend that definitely on your post on your own profile? And you said also in the comments that you're leaving on other people's profiles so that your name is being searched and picked up by the search engines both. Is that correct?
Well, at this moment, I'm just including my hashtag with every post I
Gotcha.
post out there. But yeah, that's a good idea. If you want to get even more visibility, why not? Like, it doesn't hurt anyone. It can only help.
Yeah, no, I love that. And that's how they find you. Like that's how the search engines crawl and pick you up and then present you to other people because your name is then everywhere. So it adds that much more credibility. So that's awesome. I love that. Now you've really maxed this out, not just through LinkedIn, but what have you found with AI and how to combine the two?
Well, as I mentioned, I was a programmer, and a long time ago when I was in college, we used to call artificial intelligence hybrid intelligence systems.
Mm-hmm.
So we were creating small systems, and everything that we put in the system will result in the same way. So if we put in the good things will come out. And that's the most important thing about artificial intelligence. Now, I was researching AI from January this year. I held a workshop in September. So in between, I needed to test and try so many tools that I don't remember in my life I have tried so many tools. And there are a few things which I actually realized. Every single tool which is based on AI is based on the same database. So if we use ChatGPT 3.5 or upgraded version or any kind of tool, the database is the same. So what we need actually to do is to know how to train ChatGPT 3.5 to do things for us so it sounds like us. And it gives us the answers that are specific for our business. What I want to say by that, and when we open one chat in ChatGPT, it remembers only in the scope of that one chat. So whatever I teach it in that particular chat, in a new one, it will not remember anything. This is a good thing, actually, because this means that we as people can't affect database. We can manipulate data in the scope of one chat, which is good. Mm-hmm. But what I found very interesting is that when I was preparing a workshop, I usually have a plan, which is promotional plan of 8 weeks. And my marketing is focused these 8 weeks to that specific topic. I needed 2.5 months without AI to prepare content for social media and my podcast back then. Now for this workshop, I needed 2.5 weeks to prepare content for social media, for my podcast, but I also had a LinkedIn newsletter every single week, a blog post every single week. So I had like 30% more content with, so much time savings that actually ended up with. And how I did that, except for the tools for, video production and all of that. I opened one chat and I simply said, this is my media bio. I would like you to learn about me and then ask me specific questions about me and my business so you can help me craft the best workshop and media plan for launching the workshop. And it just gave me questions. And I answered to these questions, explained who I am, what's my business about, and all of that. So it knows who I am. I even gave it a name. So I was communicating to it like it's a real human being. And as you can see, the results were obvious. And it really sounded like me because, for example, I gave it a transcript of my TEDx talk and I said, this is the way I speak. Please learn. We will call it a TEDx style. And prepare me a transcript for my solo episode of my podcast in this style. And it really sounds like me. Wow. So yeah, I think the possibilities are endless. And don't forget that Microsoft also has a very huge piece of OpenAI, and they own LinkedIn too. So they kind of connected these two things. Now AI can help you craft the opening note when you want to connect with someone, and that's incorporated in LinkedIn practically. But there are also tools which can help us. I don't recommend that because LinkedIn has teams of people checking if we are using some kind of external tools, or we can get banned. But it can be helpful if we need, to craft messages or to actually start a conversation with someone. So I'm definitely pro both of these tools, which now we have, which we didn't have a few years ago.
Yeah, even months ago. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
months
transforming
ago.
so quickly. I think of
Yeah.
it, January of this past year, we didn't have all of this. This year
Yes.
has just leaped things forward hugely. So, but I think you hit on a couple really important things there is when you're using things like ChatGPT and AI, so many people just pump out content, but it doesn't sound like them at all. It's
Mm-mm.
just a, vomit of whatever ChatGPT is giving you. And you think, oh, I'm done, but you're not going to connect with your dream people. So you took a couple important steps there of first training it to sound like you, right? So it's using your voice, but making sure that everything is actually in your voice, whether that's polishing it later or, polishing it beforehand, training it. Like there's multiple steps in there that I think are critical to actually land with the people that you're trying to connect with.
Mm-hmm. And as I like to say, everything is about human to human connection.
Right.
We can have all of this tech stuff, but unless we truly connect, and LinkedIn is really about human to human connection, nothing will happen. People know if that is me or it's AI. It's so obvious. People want us to be there and to be present. But having this in our hands, like social media, like LinkedIn, which has so many possibilities and tools which can fast forward so many things that we needed to do by ourselves or hire virtual assistants or whatever, it really opens door to much, much better results in our businesses for sure.
Absolutely. And you mentioned you have a podcast, right?
Yes.
Talk to me about how has your podcast really impacted your business and really been able to expand your business even further?
At this moment, I have to say that I adore my podcast. When I was starting, I actually didn't want to start a podcast, and that's my first episode. The first one is why I didn't want to start a podcast. A colleague of mine and my client was a podcast mentor, and he actually explained me that I have to do that because it's a good thing for my business. But I just was very hesitant. It ended up to be one of the best resources for me to truly connect with people. I had guests like Nobel Peace Prize and Emmy and Oscar Awards artists and scientists, Premier League and NFL players, 6, 7, 8 figures business owners, like from all over the world. As I mentioned, my clients come from 30 countries, and guests on my podcast are, everywhere. And the happiness which I have received and the joy from connecting with each of these people was, it just can't be described. And from each of these connections, something beautiful was born. Never mind if it is, on a personal level or on a business level. Having a podcast, I think it's a part of a brand or a personal brand, which is mandatory these days. And from a technical perspective, as I said, I always look at things from the algorithm side of view. Every single episode has so many backlinks on so many publishing platforms, distributive centers, Google, and other search engines. And my podcast is, we didn't know how to name it at the beginning, so it's the Catherine Viroy Show. So it ended up to be a good thing because, again, we were pinging Google with every single time we publish something. So yes, I'm pretty much in love with podcasting and connecting with people, and again, one of my favorite things to do.
I love it. And I couldn't agree more. I was also very limited in my vision when I first started my podcast, and I thought, oh, I'll just pump out training materials and it's just another way for content, and great. But it's so much bigger than that. And the people that you meet right? Like all around the world, it's just phenomenal to have that vehicle to be able to connect with other people that you wouldn't normally be able to connect with. And people are
Yes.
so excited to be on your podcast. Like it's awesome because
Yes.
it gives them that much more visibility. You know, it's another method, like you said, with using the algorithms to your advantage of getting those backlinks and getting the SEO and like all that juice that when you go search for your name, for example, all the episodes show up, right? Like it's massive as far as exposure, and relationship building is the part that I love the most. And you'd mentioned that also, just connecting with people genuinely in a free flow format where this is not a scripted episode. Like we're just
No.
talking human to human, and getting that out there and sharing that experience with other people.
But it's a lot of work to do, we have to say.
It is.
To be honest, it is a lot of work to do. And the things we have to do behind the scenes and to prepare ourselves for the interviews and then, the post-production and all of that. But I think it's worth it because it's a mark which will stay forever. Even if we close our podcast, the episodes will still be there. I mean, the ones that were previously published. So yeah, I'm definitely for podcasting.
Yeah, which is actually one more point too, is it's evergreen content that lives on forever, where social media posts are gone, in an instant in front of somebody's eyes, but these get curled forever. So yeah, I'm a big proponent of it as well, obviously, because otherwise we're doing this. Because it is a lot of work. I agree with you.
It is a lot of work. Yeah, we have to be honest about that.
Yeah, for sure. So in all of what you see, and you shared a couple of these already, but what are some of the gaps that you see with business owners that they don't really identify up front, or, the misses that you're able to help them see?
Mm-hmm. Well, if we connect all of these dots, one of the most important things is being able to create multiple revenue streams. I think that's one of the most important things for every business. Like having a business model so clearly set with every single element, from the customer segmentation, value propositions, relationships, all of these partnerships, resources. But what I've noticed is that business owners don't pay so much attention on the cost structure, especially variable costs. They don't calculate that into price. They don't have like a system in place to actually, fulfill every single element of the business. But the lack of having more than one revenue stream is one of the most obvious things. I believe we have to have minimum 3 revenue streams. One of them is obviously some kind of service which we provide. For example, one of them is a passive revenue stream. For example, we are now rebuilding my e-learning platform because that's a source of multiple different revenue streams from a passive source. And I'm a big fan of like having a book or any kind of a physical product also, which can help us to actually distribute also. So we need to be seen, especially if we build a personal brand. But if we don't back up that with several different options and revenue streams, then we're shooting in an empty ball. Like we have to have all these elements in place to be able to like fulfill everything that is expected from us in this especially online space. So I'm a big fan of funnels and building systems, and I think that having a system behind our business, and I was building mine for 5 years. Now we are polishing it so that business is able to maintain itself and fulfill every need, even if I, as a coach, am not present. I think is one of the most important things, and that each of us who are in a space of service need to think about in advance and to work on it behind the scenes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think of, in this world that we're in, the digital world and the physical world around us, like everything is constantly changing, right?
Yes.
From, everything around us. So I agree with you, where if you have just a single revenue stream, you're reliant on that 100%. Where if you have multiple revenue streams, I see it as like a 3-legged stool, right? Like you're more stable and be able to be more resilient as the world is changing around us. That, you want to be able to be focused in what you're doing, so you're not pulled in so many directions. But I like that a lot, just to be able to have that stability and be planted and be able to weather, the storms that come through.
Yeah, and in these days, like we have so many powerful tools which can help us with that. Actually, it's not so difficult to build a system like it was like few years ago when we had just a WordPress or whatever. Now we have very powerful tools which we can use to actually really fulfill that part of our business.
Definitely, definitely. So you've got amazing things that you've been working on, but what do you have coming next? What can people be looking forward to finding out from you?
Well, as I mentioned, and I'm very happy about this, we were creating a kind of an ed tech company. It's called LGM Academia. It's still not launched. It's getting ready soon. So not only my programs, which will be available as e-learning programs, but I intend to include other experts which I met along the way, which can help us with personal and business growth. So it's like a hub for business owners and for those who would like to run their own businesses to find the best resources, practical resources, which can help them to grow their businesses online. And I am like, yesterday, I will be honest, I was looking in everything that we have created behind the scenes, and I actually had the tears of joy in my eyes because, when you're very close to like wrapping up something that you were working so long on, it's a very, very good feeling, and I hope that it will be helpful for everyone who join us.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm excited to check it out too.
Thank
There's
you.
so much work that goes into it behind the scenes that people don't see. I can speak for
Yes.
myself and can identify with what you're doing, but because I'm a systems minded person. So
Yes.
the smoother that things run, the more planning went into place before you actually built it and, to streamline things and make it work really well. So I can definitely appreciate that.
Yeah.
Awesome. And you've accomplished tremendous things in your career, but how do you define success? What does that look like for you?
I was born in former Yugoslavia, which was a very beautiful country in Europe, which doesn't exist anymore. There was a war during 90s, and I was 17 years old, and find myself hiding in the basement because bombing was out there. Maybe for me, success is pretty much different, but everything that I do is a promise to myself I gave back then. And that is that I will be the light who will help people not to be in a position of not having a choice. Because back then someone took away control from my life. And I see now things are happening in the world. The same things are happening. And I'm just wondering, will humanity ever learn from the past mistakes? But, for me, success is having peaceful life and having time, especially for my son. I'm a mom. I have a 7-year-old son. And being able to, walk your talk while you help people to be truly who they are and do what they love. So it's not so much about material things, because I believe that money and material things are the response of the good work we put out there. My mission is much higher and much more profound, and that's really to try to be the light for people to see that there is a way. And I used to say, if a girl from a shelter who can do that, everyone else can, and this is why my hands are wide open for everyone.
I love that. And it's amazing how something so horrific in your life, you've been able to transform that into something so powerful and help so many people around the world and really just be that beacon of light, which is just incredible. I love your story.
Thank you. It wasn't easy. Again, like I'm always honest, but I could hide and pretend like nothing happened, or I could actually, try to grow from what I have experienced. And I choose the second path.
We have to, right? It's either that or you roll over and, you make no impact whatsoever. So, but yeah, I love that. And, on that note, if you had the attention of the whole world for 5 minutes, what would you tell them?
Well, I would tell them that everything is temporary, and we need to be aware that we don't know when the end of our life will be, and to try to live every single day like it's the last one. That's what I learned hard on my own skin, and which I believe people often forget.
Yeah. Yeah. And just the relationships that you build with people and, being able to leave them in a way that you're happy and at peace with yourself. I absolutely love that. Thank you for that. So how can listeners support you in your work? Where can they find you and all the amazing things that you're working on?
Well, thank you. The best place is LinkedIn, of course. My assistants are on other social media, but I'm on LinkedIn really. So, and of course, my website, catherineberoy.com.
Perfect. And we will have all the links below so people can come check them out. And thank you so much for being on today. This was a lot of fun and learned a ton already.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It really was my pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you found value in this episode, please do share it. That's how people find us. And you can find me at sevenfigurebuilder.com. And I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.